Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada boom.
There were times I plotted killing my father, thinking of committing murder. He went to a Diddy party. So he says that he'd been invited to a white party. Yes, Puff Daddy.
You're walking down the street.
What
and
the
you
hell?
Walk past someone. You guys kind of look alike, and it makes you do a double take. Maybe it's the eyes. Maybe it's the way that both of you guys have dimples on the right side that's significantly larger than the left side when you smile. But it could also just be you have similar styles. Maybe you do your makeup the same. Or maybe your parents look alike. It's not that big of a deal, right? Or you consider the other possibility. What are the odds that you have a half sibling out there that you don't even know about?
Dang, that would be crazy.
Not a question that keeps you up at night.
What if you did? That actually would be like, I wonder how that conversation would go. But you also got to think, this is probably a random person, and how would they even believe you?
Staring into the abyss. But if one day your dad tells you, hey, I've been cheating on your mom for the past few years. I work as a truck driver. It makes it so easy to meet people on the road. Then yeah, you're probably wondering exactly how many half siblings do I have out there?
Damn.
Where you accidentally run into one of them at an airport bookstore and you don't even freaking know it. There are two main ways in which this scenario could likely happen to you. One of the parents, like I said in the previous situation, has an extramarital affair.
Okay.
Two, maybe both of your parents or one of them were donors, sperm or egg donors.
Yeah.
That's actually become a huge issue as of late.
Really?
One sibling group discovered they would go onto these donor websites and they would input the member number, like the donor number of the sperm that was used to create them, and see how many half siblings they have out in the entire world, the universe. And some of these sibling groups would be 150 big, 150 half siblings all conceived by the same sperm donor.
Holy shit.
Just out there existing. Apparently they'll have meetups and people will get blown away because it's like 150 people who look eerily similar, just in different.
Bro, what the hell? 150 half siblings is crazy. Like, what would happen if, because you're really not supposed to have sexual encounters with somebody who is like of the same lineage. What would happen if you didn't know that and you accidentally did that? Like, what?
Fonts, and it's kind of unsettling. There are other groups popping up, 50 half siblings, 25 half siblings, 30 half siblings. It's very tricky for them to find each other because it's not like they can just compare birth certificates. That would make it easier. That would at least provide some sort of tracking method for half siblings, but usually some sort of method to track your half siblings. Aziza Kibibi, however, does not really have to look that far. She already knows where every single one of her half siblings are because she has given birth to 4 of them.
What?
Aziza Kibibi's children are also her half siblings because Aziza's father is also the father of her children.
What?
Aziza's father has been essaying her since she was 8 years old. Pregnant.
Bro, why are men this horrible, bro? Like, what the hell is wrong with people? That's so fucking weird. And if she murders him, I don't feel bad. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, do what you gotta do, bro. I usually don't recommend doing this type of stuff. But, bro, if somebody doing this to you and you can't do anything else, the police not taking it serious, nope, like, do what you gotta do. I didn't see shit. What the fuck?
Dating her 4 times, forcing her to give birth at home, forcing his wife, Aziza's mom, to help her give birth to...
Bro, and the mama know? There's no way, bro. You're as a mother, you should be conspiring with your daughter to take this horrible man out.
His child.
Like, why would you even let his DNA go any further than what it already has? You need to eliminate this threat from the world.
Aziza's half-sibling and child, and now to Aziza's mom's grandchild and also stepchild 4 separate times. Once was in a tent on the beach hiding from the police. Another time was in a Home Depot bucket at home. And every single time, Aziza's father would force her to raise her children, his children, in the house with Aziza's other siblings, whom he was also assaulting. Aziza's mother, who starts becoming jealous of Aziza and her own daughters and her own grandchildren, and he would force them to live in this cramped space and fight for his attention until Aziza finally escapes.
Yeah.
This is Aziza's story. So you're 15 when you're pregnant for the first time. Did you know that you were about to give birth?
I did not know I was having labor pains. What it felt like was I was having menstrual cramps, very mild. And then I felt like I needed to use the bathroom. My family, we lived in one room in the house that we were renovating at the time. And everyone was in that one room asleep on the mattresses on the floor. Got up in the middle of the night to go outside of the room. We didn't have any working plumbing or toilets, so we were using the bathroom on Home Depot buckets. Went and sat on the bucket thinking that I had to defecate, thinking that I had to go to do a number 2. And I started pushing, not thinking that what I was feeling were actually labor pains. And as I was pushing, trying to go, water splashed from between my legs all across the floor. And I screamed out for my mom. She came running out and she grabbed me. Then she screamed for my dad. He came running out and he looked between my legs and he said, "Her head is right there. Aziza, do not push." So they carried me back into the room. By that time, the commotion had woken up my siblings and the dogs. I remember hearing them barking. And my father just kept telling me, "Do not push, do not push. She's coming too fast." And I'm there laying on the mattress and I'm doing my best to try to hold her in, but my body was not cooperating. And I ended up pushing unwillingly, and my baby just shot out of me, and my father caught her. So he said that I had torn because she came so fast. No. By that time, I was only 16. I got pregnant when I was 15, but by the time I had my daughter, I was 16. And my body just hadn't matured enough. So I tore.
Bro, I hate this fucking dude, bro. Like, I already got enough from Rotten. Sorry, I already got enough from Rotten Mango to like really have a disdain for this dude. And like, why would you put somebody through this? Like, that's fucked up.
My breasts were not developed enough to breastfeed her. So when the milk started coming in, I was extremely engorged. I didn't have nipples to feed her. So it was a whole thing. But looking at her, looking at this baby that came from me, I fell in love with her. She had these big, beautiful, round saucer eyes. And once all of the commotion settled down, my parents and my siblings went back to sleep. I just stayed up with her and just looked at her, and I fell in love and I cried, and I thought about what got me to that point. And even though it was rooted in a whole lot of trauma and pain, you know, I felt like, wow, finally now there's somebody to love me.
When you had your...
The fact that she didn't even have that from her family, like her circle, the people she's around every single day, who she's literally sharing one bedroom with, is crazy, bro. Like, the fact that she had a kid and that was the moment that she felt secure and loved, bro. Like, this world is cruel.
First baby, did everyone in the family know that this was also your father's child?
None of my extended family knew. So my mom knew, yes, my siblings knew. Even before I got pregnant, my father told my brothers and sisters that he was keeping me and I was not allowed to have a boyfriend, and they had to watch me and tell him whenever, if anybody ever tried to talk to me. So yes, they knew by this time. And it was just something that was accepted.
Accepted?
Did anything change?
So nobody in the family got brain cells? Like, he's that abusive that y'all just... And I don't want to, like, mitigate the fact that, you know, some people who go through abuse and trauma, they accept it because they feel like there is no way out. You know what I'm saying? I could respect that. I understand that. But nobody got mad enough. Nobody, like, it's all of y'all in this horrible living situation, first of all. No plumbing, one bedroom, and nobody mad. Nobody's like, what is going on? And the mom just accepting that? Like, but if he's willing to treat his kids like that, the mom had to be somewhat of, like, just out of it. I don't know.
Your first child?
I would say yes. Well, most definitely yes. I wouldn't just say it. Most definitely yes. I already felt a sense of purpose, I guess, because My father weaponized my brothers and sisters. He told me that, specifically my sisters, he told me that if I did not tell what he was doing to me, if I didn't fight him, then he would not molest my siblings.
Yeah.
That didn't last for very long, but for a good 4 to 5 years, my father did not touch my sisters. I kind of had a sense of purpose where I accepted that this was the sacrifice. Whatever suffering I was going through was a sacrifice that I made in order to keep them safe. But then after I had my daughter, that definitely increased, because now I was her mom and I was determined not to do to her what my mother did to me, and that was essentially to do nothing. The other thing that changed was my relationship with my mom. Now that my daughter was here and my father had kind of labeled her royal blue blood, right? He put her up on a pedestal. Then my mom became jealous. My father believed in hitting his children for discipline.
Your mom became jealous? Does she not know what she allowed to happen in her own home? Like, I'm confused.
Became jealous. My father believed in hitting his children for discipline. He would not hit my daughter at all. Damn. He completely got rid of that whole belief system with her, but he was still beating my siblings. He was still beating me. And I think that created some animosity in my mother. Yeah. So that was something else that changed. My relationship with my mother was already strained, but it had kind of reached this kind of plateau of this is just the life that we're living, and I accepted it to a certain degree. But it definitely changed even more after I had my daughter, because then she started expressing more animosity.
The abuse starts when you're 8 years old.
Yes.
Before you're 8, can you walk us through the family setup and what your life was like up until the abuse starts?
So I could go back to as far as I remember, is what I remember, which actually is pretty young. My parents met when they were teenagers in high school. My dad was 18 and my mom was 17 when they had me. Then they got married. So as far as my memories are concerned, we lived in the attic of my grandmother's house. When my mom got pregnant with my first sister, but third child, we moved downstairs to a small apartment.
Wait, first sister, but third child? So he was messing with other girls too? Is that what I'm getting? Or am I slow?
We moved downstairs to a small apartment that was connected to the house, but it was bigger than living up in the attic. Our life, I remember a very happy childhood. Yes, as I said before, my father believed in punishing, his children by beating them. So I definitely remember him beating me when I was little if I misbehaved. I remember that if I tried to go downstairs to see my grandmother when we lived in the attic, then he would catch me and he would whoop me then.
What?
I remember tearing up a mango tree that he was growing and he beat me then. So I remember those things. And I think because they were traumatizing even as a toddler. But then as I got older and we moved downstairs, I had a happy childhood as far as I could remember. I was allowed to play with my cousins. I was allowed to go visit my grandparents. And my father was very involved in our life. He was determined to give us experiences that I don't think were normal for Black children in Paterson, New Jersey. So I grew up going blueberry picking and going to visit the Statue of Liberty. And then we were homeschooled. So my cousins, they would complain all the time about going to school and hating school, but they just thought it was so cool that we got to stay home. So all of those things, we turned out to be like the cool kids in the family and really had a lot of fun with it.
The homeschooling, was it your dad homeschooling you guys? And you're the eldest.
Yes.
I think you mentioned like your dad would teach you and then you would teach your siblings.
Yes.
That is a lot to take on.
Yeah, hell yeah.
What was
Bro, the oldest kid probably get the toughest, like, relationship when it comes to the parents because they're stricter because it's their first kid. They're more attached and stuff like that. They ain't never been parents before, so they don't want to make as many mistakes. So that caused them to be a little bit more controlling. And if you got other siblings, they expect you to lead by example and kind of take that leadership role. So yeah, I could see that.
It was stressful. The first child that my father delivered was his third child, but my first sister, right? There was a brother between her and I, and she was born feet first. And my father always said that she would be like a problem child because she was born feet first. And I still maintain that my arch nemesis was born into the family as my sister. So I had to teach her how to read. And she gave me the most difficult time. She challenged everything. She would try to tell on me, get in trouble. She refused to do her homework. So yeah, having that stress, being responsible for having to teach her how to read, write, do math, because it came with the threat of my father. If my sister was not at a certain level by a certain time, then I would get punished. You know, yes, the stress the stress was a lot.
No,
I just accept it. I was the oldest daughter. I accepted it as my responsibility, and I just did the best that I could.
Why did your dad decide to do homeschooling? Was it like he didn't think the school curriculum was good, or was it a separate reason? Was it to shelter you guys in?
So what he told us was that the school curriculum wasn't good, especially for African American people. He felt that
So the school curriculum not good, but you're putting it on your daughter to teach the other kids? I'm not understanding that. Like, if the school curriculum not that good, it should be your sole responsibility. And if they fail and they struggling, it's your fault that they not doing what they supposed to be doing. He trying to play like principal. I don't know.
Public school education did not suffice for his kids. And his experience, he would tell us horror stories of what he went through in school as a child, being bullied and teachers not liking him. So he kind of created this view of school that was just tough and struggle, and then it not being adequate for him. And he didn't think it was adequate for us. So that was...
We could tell this dumbass, bitch-ass nigga got y'all up in here. And nothing wrong with homeschool. I'm not saying that. But he's obviously failed at life. You know, he got bullied and the teachers didn't like him. He probably didn't do good in school. So now he's trying to control everything. And it's just like, bro, he failed himself.
He told us. I feel like looking back, yes, some of it was a manipulation, was a way to keep us sheltered, but that's in hindsight. During, he definitely said that essentially the public school that we had access to was not good enough to educate us.
Closer to when you're 8, you're being homeschooled, you're teaching your siblings everything. You're kind of forced into this role of an adult in the family. How does the abuse start?
I think it's safe to say it started with the physical abuse, because we, as much as I loved my father, I was definitely afraid of him. And he was involved with us. We would play, we'd run around the house, play hide and seek. He was a very hands-on dad. But when he got angry, he took it out on us. He would beat us with belts and take turns with the belt. He taught me algebra holding a kung fu slipper in his hand. So if I got the answer wrong, he would slap me with the kung fu slipper. But of course, at the time as a child, you just think, well, this is how your parents discipline you. So inclusive of him using corporal punishment, he also grounded us. So if you did something wrong, you couldn't watch TV, you got locked in your room, like all of these things. And even then it progressed to starving. So it's a little fast forward. I wasn't a teenager. I think I was about 13 when my father first bought the house in East Orange. He would take us there to do the renovations. We'd had to clean up slacks, rip down walls, do all of like the hard labor. And we would have to, my brother and I would have to complete a certain amount of tasks by the end of the day. If we did not complete the tasks, the punishment was that we didn't get to eat. So he started to employ now these starvation methods in his child rearing. And I just feel like it got worse and worse from there. So I was already afraid of him. So by the time I'm 8 years old, you don't want mommy to tell daddy if he was acting up, because then you'd get a bad beating or get some kind of severe punishment. And usually the punishment just never fit the crime.
Your mom during all of this, she's more...
And the worst part of this is these types of parents, when you get older and like you start living your life and start doing better and you don't want to be around them or involved with them, they take it as like personal, and it is fucking personal, bitch ass niggas. But I didn't have parents like this. Thank God I had great parents, but I seen how this type of stuff play out, and they will really be aggravated and mad at you because you don't want to be involved with them, and they feel like they raised you in order for you to be happy and successful. And now that you're happy and successful, they take that as like, I did that, when really you did do it, but it was a result of me not wanting to be anything like you. You know what I'm saying? You motivated me because you were so horrible type shit.
Of like a quieter parent, like not as involved, or?
No, she was definitely involved. She was there because even with the education was to align it with regular school. It was like my mom was kind of the teacher and my father was the principal.
That's what I said.
My father taught the hard subjects like algebra and any of the sciences and technology, but my mom focused more on the English and basic math. And she would check all of our work and give us our assignments. So they worked hand in hand.
How did the molestation start?
So one day my mom sent me to talk to my father in their bedroom, and he was commending me, which was rare. He told me that I had been being very responsible. He was proud of me. He was, as far as my schoolwork, my mom would grade our work, so I was getting A's according to her, gold stars. And he just told me that he was very proud. And then he told me that he had to show me how to be a woman.
Huh?
And
No. What is a fucking man telling you about being a woman? That don't make sense. 1 + 1 not equaling 2, and he was teaching algebra, so he should know this shit. What does a man have to do with you teaching you how to be a woman? Why your mama, an actual woman, can't teach you how to be a woman, bro?
All fathers did with their daughters.
No.
And then he took me in the back room, which was a closet area that separated our apartment from my grandmother's house. And he laid me down and he performed oral sex on me.
You're 8, so you don't know what he's doing. Did you believe that this is something that normally happens because that's what he said? Or did you have this...
I had an icky feeling, right? I had an icky feeling because from what I understood and what I had been taught by my mom specifically was that no one was supposed to look at my private area.
Yeah,
right? No one was supposed to look at my private areas. Mommy to help clean, and daddy whenever something was wrong, right? Something was wrong because he was the person that kind of diagnosed sicknesses and gave us herbs and things like that.
What?
So
Bro, what about a doctor, man?
This behavior, I was uncomfortable. As his daughter, I can't protest. I can't argue against it. So it more felt like that. I did believe him. I believe that all dads did this with their daughters because he is who I got all of my information from and all of my knowledge from. So when this happened, yeah, I accepted it. However, while he was going down on me, I felt very scared. I didn't like the feeling. He asked me,
bro, I feel sick.
Do I like it? And I was afraid to tell him that I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So what I told him was that, well, I don't want him to do it anymore. That was my way of cautiously answering him. He kept doing it anyway and then eventually stopped. So yeah, I mean, I knew I didn't like it.
How frequent is the abuse initially?
After that one time, he did not abuse me again for probably about a week. I thought that would just be the only time. In my mind, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I know how to be a woman now. And what's interesting is that my father, he limited what we watched on television. So we were only allowed to watch educational shows like Reading Rainbow, 3 to 1 Contact, PBS, essentially.
Yeah.
And he was really into films. He was really into movies. So he would rent movies, or we'd go to the movies a lot. And anytime a adult scene or any kind of sex scene would come on, my mom would cover our eyes. And so then to then have this other activity that technically only adults are supposed to be having, here I am now, a kid participating in this activity, but I did not, against my will, of course, I was not allowed to watch it in a film. So that kind of got confusing. He molested me again about a week after the first time. And then after that, it was almost every night. Almost every night.
I mean, if it's every night, was your mom, did she notice at
she
this
knew.
point? Was this when she notices, or is it later?
My father told her. My father told her.
Bro, you can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. Her mama is tripping, bro. Her mama's weak as fuck. And this dude a bitch ass nigga too. 8 years old? Bro, like I say, if he died, hey.
But he had been molesting me for a while before he actually told her. So he started molesting me at 8.
She knew,
he
bro.
Told her when I was 10 years old. But by that time, he was raping me. So what he told her was that he was molesting me to help my skin condition.
What the fuck? Bro! Dude, is the mama stupid as fuck, bro? I hate to use the word, like, Jesus. What do that got to do with a skin condition? What the fuck? And y'all consulting this nigga for health advice? Bro. Bro. We 21 minutes in.
Raping me as well, he didn't tell her that part. And she believed it.
What?
She believed it and she accepted it. And I mean, if anything...
What school did she go to?
It made it worse, which is something that happens with children who are being molested. The stress of it affects their health. I had untreated asthma. So even though my father considered himself this holistic herbalist guru, I was sick very often. I had really bad eczema. I had horrible allergies. Every summer I spent a lot of time in bed. But he at certain points, as the abuse got worse, I would be sick, barely breathing. He would molest or rape me, saying that this was getting rid of the negative energy that was causing me to be sick.
This dude's fucking sick, bro. This dude is sick. And when I say sick, obviously you know what I mean, but like I actually genuinely do believe in his head he's sick. He's fucked up. And he's masking it with this guru bullshit that these spiritual people be using, bro. I hate that shit, bro. Cause it's always gonna be bad actors who go join stuff like Christianity, Buddhist. Like it's always gonna be weird old ass people who join the shit and make the shit look weird, bro. Like I respect the people who be spiritual and don't do weird shit like this, bro. Cause I do believe that, you know, the earth do provide some medications and stuff like that, but the doctor is gonna help, my nigga. What the fuck? Putting her through the worst shit. And these type of people will literally tell you that they doing it because they love you. Whole time they literally feel the complete opposite. They're making your life a living fucking hell.
Sick. So when he told my mother that and she believed him, you know, to a certain degree, I was like, well, I guess it makes sense for you to believe him because at different times he was telling me the same thing. As the one suffering and experiencing it, no, I didn't believe that because it certainly was not working. But she accepted it.
Bro,
was there
a
some
grown-ass
sort of
woman
religious manipulation going on? Because I know he would tell you guys that he's the prophet. Is that around
the
this
prophet?
Time?
Not for us, not for the kids. For my mom, I suspect that, and you're bringing up some things I probably should talk to her about, but I suspect that he
talk to her about, bro. I don't know how you even still got a relationship with your mom. Genuinely, I don't know how she got a relationship with her mom, bro. Maybe if she trying to save her from, but bro, what?
Always been a spiritual person. He's always considered himself a spiritual person. And a lot of people in the community saw him as that as well.
No.
He would go to the local park and just have these talks about Black people in America, what their role is, and God coming and empowering Black people. And, so he had that whole perspective.
Was your dad's choice
Don't tie
to be
him
a
to the
polygamist
spirituality.
also connected to spirituality, or was it?
I don't think so. When my father started practicing polygamy, it actually started with him just cheating on my mom. I don't know if between them, he just decided to switch and said it's easier to say, well, I'm practicing polygamy because Africans practice polygamy.
Bro, stop the bullshit.
It could have been an excuse or a manipulation, but he actually started by just cheating on my mom.
Somebody stop
Was
this
your
man.
mom open to polygamy, or?
No, not in the beginning. I could feel the tension. I mean, I was young, but I could definitely feel the tension. I heard the arguments. So,
Bro, if she's okay with him molesting you, I don't know how she could possibly have a problem with him cheating. Like, genuinely, like that don't even make sense.
initially she wasn't, but then she acclimated. She was in love with my father. I think that is one of the things that kept her with him for so long. She does come from a Jamaican background. My grandmother is Jamaican, and my grandmother's family is very proud. They love to keep up appearances. Like, that's really important to them. A combination with my mom being ashamed about my father cheating on her and then him loving her. I think those things mixed together then just kept her with him and made her accept what he was telling her in a lot of ways.
I have a question. When you were 8, when the first time he molested you, do you think that was his first time molesting a
Child?
child?
Oh, Lord.
That's a really good question. I'm going to say I think so. My mom ran a daycare center in my grandmother's basement, and he wasn't always involved with the children because he worked a lot. And then eventually when my mom became more successful at it and her services became more in demand, he just ended it completely. He told her, well, she could not babysit children anymore for income. And I don't, aside from...
Bro, every time she tell us something, it's just more control. So you telling me she had her own thing going on. She had a daycare, which is scary from a dude who's molesting children. But that's not what we talking about. As soon as she started doing good and actually making some good money, a nigga strip that shit away from her, that's a control move if I've never heard one.
From my father being physically abusive to other children, I never got the feeling or witnessed him doing anything that felt weird, or I felt like it was weird. Or even by the time he started molesting me, it was such a new idea. It was just like so foreign to me. And I could understand, even as I got older, there were other things that I experienced just as a child that was like, oh yeah, well, I kind of remember seeing when this happened with, so-and-so, one of my cousins, but this was just so out of left field. So I don't think he did, but with his mind frame, you honestly never know. You honestly never know. A lot of people often ask me, well, was he molested as a child? He never shared that he was. He did tell me about when he lost his virginity. He seemed to be pretty open about that. And it was with someone else that was a couple of years older than him. So I really believe that this was a new thing.
And he wanted your mom to stop the daycare because it was becoming too successful, so like a control thing.
Yeah.
Yes. And this happened with quite a few of her ventures. She also used to do hair. She used to do like hair extensions for women. And when she started excelling in that, then he'd shut it down. She also designed clothes and started making clothes and having fashion shows. Initially, he was fully supportive, but then as soon as she became more successful and things started taking off, he would shut it down. So every time the next step
That can't
would
be a good
happen,
life.
my father would shut it down. And yes, it most certainly was a form of control.
Meanwhile, he was invited to the Grammys.
What?
Was he always in that line of work? Was he always directing for musicians?
No, he started as an interior designer and cabinet maker for very wealthy people in New Jersey. And then he started his own company. And it was through that company is when he started meeting celebrities and producers. And one of the producers who had listened to his music was on the Grammy board and invited him and my mom to the Grammys. And I think after he got that little taste of being around Michael Jackson and Prince and all of
Jesus.
these, major people, he decided to focus more on producing music.
And the mama
then
should have
before
shut
you
that
know
shit
it,
down.
People started asking him to direct stuff for them.
He did one really big music video. How did that happen?
So that was in the 90s. It was Killing Me Softly by the Fugees.
Okay.
And he met the Fugees, I think at a party or something. Our house had been struck by lightning and burned down. And through that transition, he met this guy who saw him building up the house and was impressed. And my father did what he normally did. He told him about all of his ideas and technology and really impressed this guy. And he said to the guy, told him that he wanted to introduce him to Wyclef Jean, who at the time had a music studio in East Orange. So he went, met with him, won him over with all of his ideas. Apparently they were about to start a new album. And then our house burned down, and he maintained the relationship with them until it got to the point he pitched them enough that they said, we want you to direct all of our music videos for our album. And Killing Me Softly was one of them.
He went to a Diddy party?
So he did. This was before, I guess, Diddy was super successful. This was late 90s. And my father had mover and shaker within the industry. He was getting called to do different people's videos in R&B and hip hop. And one day he comes home and he says that he'd been invited to a white party. And it was, yes, Puff Daddy. I think at the time he was called Puff Daddy, right? He was invited. So it was a whole big to-do. My mom made him a new...
And the fact that the mom is just making me mad every time I hear it. But the fact that Rotten Mango's background with Puff Daddy and the fact that she brought that up is hilarious.
Outfit, I had to do his hair. It was a whole big to-do. And he came back home and had very interesting stories. Very interesting. Nothing as severe as the crimes that Diddy's committed, but he found his people. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I bet.
While he's out doing that, going to Diddy parties, how often are you socializing with anyone outside at this point?
Not often at all. The only access that I had to people were people that my father was dating, so his girlfriends, which cycled all the time,
Lord.
And people that he worked with. I spent a lot of time around the Fugees, but it was under his eye. And the only reason why I was there because I was the caterer. So he had his production company and I did all the cooking. That's why I was then around these people. I could not do any of those things outside of my father's, my mom's, or my brother's presence. So I was always being watched. So yes, sometimes I was around people, but I was always watched by someone.
By the time you're about 10, because you're still so young, do you feel like this is normal still? Or about when do you realize this is not normal?
By the time I was 10, I felt like, I wouldn't say not normal, because my life and my family was my normal.
Yeah, it was far from normal.
Technically, me not going to school wasn't normal, but this is what it was.
Even being around the famous people, and
it didn't feel normal because it was hurting me.
Yeah.
That was my measure for it not being normal. I'm 10 years old. My father was in his 20s. He's a grown man. So it hurt. It hurt. It was stressful. My father would keep me up all times of night. And I still had to get up in the morning to teach my siblings and make them breakfast and write affirmations. So I was getting like 2 hours of sleep a day, barely. So no, that was not normal.
Yeah.
Those things were, I could not accept those things as normal because they were hurting me.
Because they weren't normal.
By the time I was about 12, and it was after my father believed that we were vegetarian, but my father loved to eat very rich desserts, cheesecakes, chocolate cake, cookies, and he loved Junior's cheesecake. And he would buy them, but the kids weren't allowed to have them because our palate was not sophisticated enough.
Man, get the fuck out of here. You trying to eat all the sweets up, bitch ass nigga. You literally trying to have your cake and eat it too. Ho ass nigga. What the fuck? How you gonna get the cheesecake and not let us have a little nibble? Shit. Bro, you already fucking over the family. Damn, this dude is a bitch.
According to him, that was his words. Our palate was not sophisticated enough to appreciate the flavor of Junior's cheesecake. Something how I remember that
this
verbatim.
is pure manipulation.
So I decided I was going to, in the middle of the night, sneak a taste of his Junior's cheesecake. And when I turned around, after scraping the side of the cheesecake, I turned around and he was standing there. He caught me.
Oh no!
I was 11 years old. And he took me by the arm and he dragged me into our bathroom and he sodomized me.
What's that mean?
And he held my mouth and he hit me across the head and he told me, don't ever take his cheesecake again.
Bro, over some cheesecake, bro? What the fuck is wrong with this dude? This dude is literally just a control freak. A psychopath.
After that, I decided I was going to run away. It took some time. I didn't actually make an attempt until I was 12 years old. And when I packed all of my things, felt that they were distracted enough.
Yeah.
And I decided I was very
And that got to be tough because you got siblings.
Go out next door, which was the space between my parents' room and my grandmother's house. Go through my grandmother's front door. And the reason why is because our front door was in the living room. So I had to put my siblings in the living room to watch TV while I go through another exit.
Yeah.
Turns out my siblings saw me.
Oh no.
And by the time I got to the front door, I turned around and my brother was there. And he said to me, well, Aziza, if you run away, what's going to happen to us?
Yeah.
And I felt so selfish because I hadn't thought about it before. I just knew that I needed to leave. But then it was just, if Daddy was to find out that Aziza was gone, he would definitely blame my siblings because they had already been tasked with having to watch me and making sure I didn't talk to people. So I knew that the consequences of me leaving was going to impact them greatly. Plus, by then, because I did start questioning my father, what he was doing, he had already started telling me that, well, if I did not fight back or I didn't tell anyone, then he wouldn't touch my sister. So those kind of
it was a lot at stake.
And tactics was already in place. But I felt like, how could I not have thought about what would happen if I was to leave?
Yeah.
So I didn't. I turned around. I begged my sister, specifically, who I knew would tell on me, not to tell that I tried to run away. And we continued as normal. That's
a lot of
Yeah.
responsibility and guilt for when you're 11.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like it's unfair that only you were carrying that?
I wouldn't say I isolated that specifically as unfair. I felt that everything was unfair. I felt that the housework that I had to do was unfair. I felt that the fact that I
whole
got in trouble
lifestyle.
more than anybody was unfair. I loved fairy tales. One thing my father would let us do, he would take us to the library and he had to approve all the books that we read. I started to find different versions of Cinderella. The African version, the Asian version.
Oh, shoot.
The
I didn't
Russian
even
version,
know they
like
had
these
all
different
that.
versions of Cinderella. I felt like it was me. You know, I felt like I was this girl who had all of this responsibility and was being bullied. And then plus also my mom started blaming me for what my father was doing to me.
What?
She told me that.
Wait, what? What? You got more... I don't want to crash out, bro. You got more responsibility than she got, bro. What the fuck is wrong with her, bro? She's literally a whore. Like, there are these women in the world, bro, who will go to the edge of the earth to defend a horrible man. And we all know it. Like, let's be honest. Everybody watching this video know that this is a thing. It could be a son. It could be a husband. They gonna enable a horrible ass man every day of the fucking week. And those are the weakest bitches in the world. I hate to say bitches, but they bitches, nigga. Fuck.
I stole her husband.
What?
Because
You let him
though
do
he
that
had all
shit.
these other girlfriends, she could not compete with a child because she was not a child and my father liked children.
Bro, are you hearing this shit, bro? There's no way she said this shit to her kid.
So I am the only one who was capable of taking her husband. So our relationship was strained by then. And I started acting out at different points. I was not bathing, taking care of my hair, wearing dirty clothes. That was my way of trying to
Rebel,
be
become
less
disgusting
appealing to my
Yeah.
father. My dad liked pretty girls. He definitely had a type. So to try to deter him from abusing me, I was like, well, maybe if I'm ugly, then he won't abuse me. That didn't work because then I would get in trouble from my mom for not bathing or for not doing my hair. So there was always this tension and back and forth between them. And yeah, I thought it was unfair. I just thought it was unfair. I remember I asked my mom, did she only marry my father because she got pregnant with me? Because I felt like it was because I was born that all of this stuff was happening.
Did your mom ever show any inkling that she was not approving of what your dad was doing? And not in like the jealousy sense, but in like, this is my child.
She did one time that I witnessed. She found out that not only my father was molesting me, but one of his girlfriends was as well.
What?
And it happened to be one that she didn't like very much. So when she confronted him about it, he beat her with a belt. And that was the only time that I saw her stand up for me, so to speak. But after that, she didn't again.
Do you think it has more to do with you being molested or this other woman partaking?
I think it was more about the other woman.
Yeah.
Because what she said to him was, how could he let her touch me? It was because she didn't like her. So
This dude
she
a
had
fucking
already accepted
weirdo, man.
him touching me. But then at that point, she was like, well, how could he let her touch me? I mean, my father was abusive to her, to my mom as well. He was also abusive to this woman. So he was just an abusive person overall, even in his romantic relationships. But this was the only time that I have heard my mom like stand up for me. But it didn't go anywhere.
You said there was another woman that was also abusing you. Is she also a pedophile or...
My father, but he was a sexual deviant. He was a sexual deviant. I know this from personal experience. This woman specifically had, I guess you can say, questionable sexual tastes that he encouraged. When the first time he molested me with her, she didn't do anything. She just watched. He called her into the bathroom. I was using the bathroom. He called her into the bathroom and he raped me. And he asked her, how does it look to her? And he bragged about, and I'm 10, he bragged about the fact that I could take it all. So his
What
words.
the fuck?
Bragged about the fact that I could take it all. And she just sat there like with this smile on her face.
Ugh.
And was like, oh my gosh, it looks so good.
What the fuck?
And then I do remember her
Bro,
touching my...
these people sick as fuck, man. Like, I hate hearing and seeing stuff like, bro, because, like, you got to realize it's people out here in this world like this, man. Like, walking amongst us, weirdos, bro. Like, genuine pedophiles, bro. That's weird. Like, that's so weird to me.
my shoulder at some point. And then he stopped. And then the next time I had interaction with her was the following weekend. She would come and stay the night every weekend. So then the following weekend.
I don't know how bad this is gonna get. I might have to take a break, bro. Like, I almost puked.
And he got me up, brought me into the living room, and she was there as well. And she came up and she kissed me. And that was the first time I had an experience with someone of the same sex. I preferred her over him because he was rough. So as weird as that sounds, it was like, well, if you had to choose one of two evils, I preferred her because she was gentle. He was rough. He was heavy. You know, he penetrated me. So, but with her, it was soft kisses and gentle touches. They were both abuse, of course. I had no choice in the matter. Yes, the fear was still there because I'm a child with two adults doing things to me that I had no say in. But if you was to ask me, well, Aziza, which abuse would you prefer? Definitely her. And that's what it was like. It was like having that confusion and conflict to say, well, I'm in this situation where I have no power.
Bro, that's so crazy that people who go through like crazy stuff like this, they literally try their absolute best as humans to make it as normal as possible to cope with the trauma, bro. Like,
but who do I choose? As if I was given a choice, well, which one do I prefer? Which abuse do I prefer? Then it was definitely her.
How long was she abusing you for?
Up until I got pregnant with my daughter.
While all of this is happening, at 13, your dad wants you guys to stop studying?
huh?
Yes. Did align with the fact that we were renovating the house. So before we moved out of Patterson, out of the apartment next to my grandmother's house, he purchased the house and we was just going there as many times during the week that he didn't have work. So because he wanted to focus on this, he just comes into, it was my brother and I was in our bedroom and he just came and said, no more schoolwork. No more schoolwork. Y'all don't need to do any schoolwork. We're just focusing on building the house. Then he came with the threats. If he caught us doing schoolwork, then there would be consequences.
Bro, this coming from the same dude who was saying that the regular school system was not good enough. What the fuck is going on, man?
If I could not teach
He's
my
just a
siblings, my
control
younger
freak.
siblings anymore, there would be consequences. So the reason that he gave us was because we was working on the house, but I don't believe that that was the real reason. By the time we moved into the house, and the reason why we ended up moving into the house before it was finished, it was long from finished, is because there were things happening on my mom's side of the family, which is where we lived. And they seemed to be more, what can I say? They were questioning a lot of things.
Okay.
There was a huge argument between my mom's brother and my father. He pulled a gun out on him.
Oh,
there was
shoot.
just more
He shoulda shot his
more
ass.
tension. He just packed everyone up, all of our stuff, and we moved into the house in East Orange. there were, while some places didn't even have a roof, holes in the floor, there were no walls, no windows, and that's where we were, and we continued to work from there.
And then you said there was 10 people total in that room.
It was about
Jesus.
10 people by that time. So it was between 9 and 10 of us. And I say between 9 and 10 because then I had my daughter, right? So then that ended up making it 10. So yeah, it was about 9 of us. So it ended up being 11 of us because my dad's girlfriend, who he was molesting me with, she was living with her mom. But then at some point she came and moved into the house as well.
And when you guys are living in that house, all of you guys are sharing one room.
Mm-hmm.
Is he still molesting you?
Yes. Yes. Now, by that time, it was everybody has to leave the room. So he could have sex with whoever, me, my mom.
Oh my
girlfriend.
gosh, bro. You literally living in, I don't know how men could be living in a situation that isn't like good. Like you could literally be down to your last. You got no money, could barely feed yourself. Bro, you literally living in a house where everybody is in one room, a house falling apart. And instead of actually working sun up to sundown and making sure that your 10 people in your house could have their own space and stuff like that, you worried about sex? How? Like, how do you even get up, bro? What's going on? You weird.
Or he would just do it.
The brother should have shot him.
There were other, even though they weren't finished, but the house was massive. It had like 5 bedrooms, 3 or 4 bathrooms, a huge shape. So it was a massive house. So he would just find places. And even before we moved there were the times that he would take my brother and I only to go and work. And then he would give my brother something to do. And he would take me to the attic and rape me. And it would be freezing cold, like, because my father worked on the house. We worked on the house, didn't matter. Spring, summer, fall, winter.
After he rapes you, I mean, everyone just acts like nothing happened.
She was about to say, yeah.
Pretty much. I think a lot of people, when they think of rape, they think of the violent crime of rape, right? But there are different forms. And essentially, it's taking a person's right away, right, to their body. You're having sex with a person. I feel like that terminology is so mild compared to what's actually happened. But you're having
No, people know what it is.
Their will. And whether that looks like molestation or intercourse or some form of forced oral sex, it's against the other person's will. So sure, my father raping me, it took time, it progressed. I was a child. He had to use different things inside of me to stretch me, and there was a whole process. Was that all rape? Yes. I didn't have a say. I didn't have to say. I had to do what he told me to do, or there was consequences. So now, yes, by the time he actually penetrated me with his penis, I didn't have a say still. So then when my mom found out, she continued on. She continued on. She didn't witness it. So for
she
her,
knew.
it was
That's
something
bad
that
enough.
was just told to her. When it was told to my siblings that my father was keeping me, they already knew what sex was, because as part of our education, he had already been molesting me. And I do believe this was his way of starting to groom my sisters. He exposed himself to all of his children.
I don't know how this dude not in the grave right now, bro. This dude is just a straight up weirdo, bro. Like, these the type of people who go to jail and you want the worst possible shit to happen to them. Like, and I mean, yeah, the worst type of shit possible, bro.
And he gave us a demonstration of what penis was, and the scrotum and the urethra, and where the sperm comes out, and the penis going, like, he gave all of that as part of our sex education using himself. He also practiced on Saturdays, and here's the thing, he went in and out of different religious belief systems. He chose to, as his form of celebration, on the Sabbath day we rested, but we did it in the nude. So the entire family walked around the house naked. During
Bro, this freak ass nigga, bro.
During this time, no, he was not molesting my sisters, but he was getting every opportunity to molest me. And I believe that he used that as a way to get everyone more comfortable with the idea of being nude around each other. Anytime he delivered his children, everyone had to get naked so we could greet the child in our birthday suit. So, you know, he would come up with these philosophies that seemed to make sense, I guess. But looking back, I was like, all of this was just preparing everyone for this very
he was just
sordid
getting off on that
lifestyle
shit
that he ended up having.
And your book is phenomenal. And it's so fascinating how you're able to write where I was going through so many emotions. And there's this one part where you talk about how your dad is on the toilet and he would bring your mother in and go through his philosophies. Was that something that you guys had to do frequently, or?
Yes, way too frequently. Way too frequently. When you think about being triggered by smells.
No.
My father on the toilet, and my brother and I would talk about it. My brother, who was no longer with us, him and I were very close. We were only born like a year and a half apart. And we would despise when Daddy would call us into the bathroom for a lecture while he was sitting on the toilet. It was just it was a horrible thing. And sometimes he would have my mom in there for hours. And we only had one bathroom. This is why we still lived in Patterson in the apartment. So no one could use the bathroom until he finished. So I'm laughing now, but he was very outraged. He was outrageous in a couple of ways. In quite a few ways.
More than quite a few. Bro, she just don't know, bro. She just don't know how crazy this shit is.
When did you know you were pregnant?
I missed 2 periods. Because
that was her normal.
The first one, I didn't really pay much attention to. My periods weren't irregular, but it was not normal for me to miss a period. And now I don't know, maybe I was pregnant then, but just too young to carry the pregnancy. But yeah, after the first month I missed my period, and then when it didn't come the second month, I said something to my mom, and that's when she was like, I might be pregnant. And then she went and said something to my dad.
What was your mom's reaction? Was it
indifferent? Yeah, I would say indifferent. She didn't seem like she was upset, or I think by then the abuse and her knowing about it had been gone on for so long. I don't think she would have to expect that I'd get pregnant eventually.
Yeah.
And I don't know what conversations her and my dad had about it.
And what was your dad's reaction?
My dad he was a little difficult to read. I felt like initially he didn't really believe that I was pregnant. So he didn't have much to say. I remember standing there and my mom told him that she thinks I'm pregnant. And then he was like, oh, well, we'll see. Maybe for him, 2 missed periods wasn't enough. But then morning sickness set in, and it set in bad. And he completely accepted it. And then the next time I saw that he really had a reaction was because his girlfriend, she was living with us at the time, brought up the possibility of the baby having deformities because we were close relatives.
Yeah.
And he had a very strong reaction. He got really angry. He yelled at her and he was like, what the F are you talking about?
Bro, did you not learn about this in the earth science class that you took? What the fuck are you, like, how are you surprised, buddy? That's what the fuck happens. Did you not do your fucking research, dumbass? Oh my gosh.
And she got scared. And then she says she read at some point that if 2 family members had a child together, then the baby would come out deformed. And aside from just walking away angry, that was it. Then the rest of my pregnancy, he was a lot milder. I guess. He was still raping me, but by then I was so conditioned to it. It was just a regular thing. And I would say he was more gentle, but that's how he was with pregnant women. Whenever my mom got pregnant, for the most part, he treated her the best. He did not hit her. He has beaten her when she was pregnant before, and she did lose the pregnancy, but it wasn't a common thing. Like, we knew that if you were pregnant, it pretty much protected you from him,
That's
his
crazy.
abuse, his physical abuse. So he was very catering. He made sure that I had whatever I wanted to eat. He, gave me extra favor, I guess you can say, up until I gave birth.
When he was so upset about his girlfriend bringing up the potential that your child would have complications, where was that anger coming from? Like, what do you think he was angry about?
I think it was something that he didn't think about.
Yeah,
I
dumbass.
think my father considered
Such an idiot.
himself the authority on everything. So it felt like he didn't think about it. And then for it to be something negative or that he deemed negative, I think that's what angered him. Like, he really felt like a little surprised by this theory, because I don't believe he really did any research or even thought about it much, the fact that I was pregnant or any of the circumstances, or it was just like, I was another one of his women that was pregnant. So when she brought up, I think it was a reality check for him. And
Yeah.
that's why he got angry.
Idiot.
You said that you're protected from your dad when you're pregnant. Did the jealousy from your mom get more intense at that point then? Or even from his girlfriends because of, what is the dynamic when someone is pregnant between the others?
So my
that's a good
experience
question.
with my mom
Rotten mango. That is a good question.
when I was pregnant, she was just as caring, I guess you can say, as my dad. I think that she became more maternal. Right? It's kind of weird, but she became kinder. I don't know if it was pity or she more took on the role as her daughter is having a child kind of thing, but I experienced the most maternal behaviors from my mom while I was pregnant with my first daughter. Our interaction was definitely like, oh, she was my sister wife. So essentially it got to the point where it was like, I didn't have a mother. I had this sister wife. And that changed when I got pregnant as far as her behavior. So, and she was very helpful during prenatal care. And I mean, I was pretty knowledgeable on it, but made sure that I ate and I took vitamins. So she was very maternal actually while I was pregnant.
How many kids does he have at this point?
We've counted 21 so far.
Like today?
Bro,
Yes.
somebody castrate this bitch ass nigga, man. Cut his dick off, cut his balls off, feed him to him, and kill him after. Oh! I'm not lying.
Yes, 21. That includes my children. 2 of my sisters had 1 child each by him. And any of the women that he has had,
That's
some of
absurd.
them reached out to us as recently as maybe it was before COVID they reached out. But there is a very good possibility that there's more. But so far we have knowledge of, he's had 21 children.
That is absurd.
He was always threatening you that if you didn't comply, he would abuse your sisters. But then you realize that he is already starting that abuse. When did you realize?
So it was before we officially moved into the house. I came out of the house. We were there working. It happened to be one of the times that one of my younger sisters came with us. It was my arch nemesis, the third child, but my first sister. And they were by the truck and I saw him kiss her on her lips in a very romantic way, and he touched her. And they both looked at me, and she looked at me as like she got caught, like they were caught. And my father yelled at me and was like, what are you doing? What are you doing here? Go back inside. And that's how I knew.
Something I don't like is that she referred to her younger sister as her arch nemesis, but not the dude, not her pops. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's how I knew. And then after that, the next time was, since we only lived in one room, so now, you know, this is all during the moving process. And then we move into the house. Since we lived in one room, then one of the times my father sent everybody out and kept that sister there. So
Yeah,
then
giveaway,
that's how we knew.
Yeah, did you and your sister ever talk about it at that time?
Not at the time. Not at the time. And the relationship with that sister, that was strained because she did not understand that any attention my father was giving me was not attention that I wanted. So what she saw as me being allowed to stay up late at night, she didn't know that it was because my father was molesting or raping me at the time. So she became very jealous. She didn't understand that my father taking me places with him, she just saw it as Aziza gets to go out and gets to go with daddy all the time. But he was taking me and abusing me in the car. So when she learned that he was molesting me, I think her immature mind thought, well, I want daddy's attention too. So she would do things like get undressed and walk around him and sit on his lap. And I think that was her way of just trying to get attention from him, because her understanding was, well, this is how you get attention from daddy, using sex or sexuality. So then by the time he started abusing her, her relationship with me was more of a
jealousy type of thing.
Now, Aziza, you're not the only special one. So there wasn't a conversation, but there were definitely arguments. And then even as we got older, there were more arguments. You know, she started blaming me for what happened to her. She started thinking, oh, well, certain things that happened was because I told my dad to do it to her. And this is because he was telling her this.
No.
When my father started molesting more of us, so then he went to the next sister and then the next sister. And he molested 5 of us in total.
Jesus.
4 girls that were mothered by my mother and 1 that has a different mother. And he would pit us against each other. So he would show favoritism, cause tension, tell each other that I'm only doing this to you because so-and-so told me to. And so he made sure that there was always a divide between us so that we would never get together and rise up against him.
And this all happened when all of y'all were teens,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yeah, we were all teenagers.
So you have your first child, your daughter. You guys never take her to the hospital, get a birth certificate.
Right.
There's no neighbors.
So there were neighbors, and my father built privacy walls. So they never saw us. He also had a best friend. He did befriend an East Orange police officer.
That you guys stayed with briefly, right?
Right, after the house burned down. But before that happened, this police officer was impressed by the work my father was doing on the house. So that's how they started talking and they became friends. But I always found it interesting that he never questioned the fact that he had all these teenage girls that didn't have boyfriends. And then when I got pregnant, my father did limit my interaction. Like, I couldn't be around people. But if I had to be, because we were working or I had to cook then I had to wear really oversized clothes to hide the fact that I was pregnant. So this guy, I don't think he knew that I was pregnant. But then I have the baby. And then, of course, by the time we have to move in with him, he doesn't question anything. So in my mind, he was not an option to tell. He could not be an ally because he was my father's best friend.
Yeah.
So I find out later on through my father's other friend, because this person actually died recently, passed away. He actually did suspect something and said something to my father's other friend. So I was like, so all this time you suspected?
But then all you did was tell some other friend,
Right.
and that's it?
Like it was gossip.
No, I think, and I don't want to defend him because, but I think he was trying to get something from the other friend to see if he knew something. And that way it wasn't just like his mind. He might have thought his mind was just playing games on him. He asked his friend, brought it up to a friend to check his temperature type shit. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously he can't go to the dude that's doing it, but.
Like it was gossip. And I learned also that there was more family that lived in East Orange that had seen me pregnant, suspected, had conversations, gossiped, never said or did anything. So, these things don't happen with people not knowing anything. A lot of people see things and they suspect, they just don't do anything about it.
Can you tell us about your dad's obsession with the pure bloodline?
Oof. As I said before, my father was really into African culture. And that extended back to African royalty and connected to European royalty. So I don't believe he thought about this before I got pregnant. But I think because he was such a researcher, I mean, we had books upon books upon books, like everywhere. He was always reading and watching a lot of.
Bro did all this research and didn't think that having a kid with his daughter would lead to anything wrong? Like, I don't understand.
National Geographic. I think that he made the connection between what he saw as far as like Tutankhamun and Nefertiti and Cleopatra and the fact that they inbred to keep the bloodline pure. He used it to justify what he was doing after I got pregnant. So after my daughter was born, she did not have health defects that we could see, like his girlfriend said. That solidified it. Then his whole philosophy was, yes, he now has to continue to breed me to create these special blue blood children that would repopulate the earth after the human race was destroyed.
Come the fuck on, man. What the fuck? Bro, this dude is an idiot, man. How do you come up with this shit? This literally TikTok brain shit, bro.
And that he was ordained by God to do that. I don't know if...
Don't put that shit on God, hoe ass nigga. What? God, do something about this, please. Do something about this.
If he believed that himself, or it was just an excuse to justify.
Man, that nigga
I don't know. I never had that conversation with him. But that is the philosophy. Then he continued. And then when he went further on in abusing my sisters, and then one sister got pregnant, that was the lecture, constant lecture. Like, these royal blue blood children are going to repopulate the earth.
Nobody really believed it, right?
By that time, it was not my priority to believe it. I was desensitized. I was trying to make sure he did not touch my daughter. I was trying to survive throughout the day from getting punched in the face or, or worse. So he was already threatening our lives if we were to say anything. So it was really about just making it through the day unscathed.
Because I know that a lot of people have very complicated emotions and relationships with conceiving a child through rape. Mm-hmm. Did you ever have those complicated feelings or no?
No. I saw my baby. That was it. I just saw her. I saw love. I saw a part of me. So no, I didn't. And
I respect
sometimes
that.
I feel bad because I get a lot of people reaching out to me saying that, well, how can you look at her and not see the trauma? Or how do you look at any of your children and not see the trauma? And I'm like, because I accept them for them as individuals.
Yeah.
Yes, thankfully, with my first child, it was just innate. Like, my love for her as being her mom just came immediately. Though with my son, my third not my third pregnancy. It was actually my fourth pregnancy because I lost a child. But my third child, my father was physically abusive. So that whole you being pregnant protected you went out the window with that pregnancy. My father beat me, he threatened me. One time he beat me so bad that I blacked out. And that was a very stressful pregnancy.
Why? Was it just like a time thing that he just decided
I think there were a couple of things that were happening. By then, he lost his standing in the music industry, in the video directed industry. A lot of people in the industry, he started being blackballed. He wasn't getting much work. So he had his own stresses. But then I did read somewhere that you'll find more tension between a pregnant woman and the father of her child if who she's carrying is a boy. Because of the extra testosterone, apparently the father picks that up, and there's just more tension between them.
No.
I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but my father's whole attitude while I was pregnant with my son was completely opposite of my other pregnancies. So he delivered all my 4 children that were fathered by him, 3 of them at home, and the 4th one actually on a beach in Florida.
Oh.
Yeah, in a tent. So I tried to take an opportunity to get away. I was always looking for some form of crack, in the structure. And my son, who was malnourished, woke up with seizures one morning. I didn't know that's what they were. I thought he was like dying and coming back to life. My father would not allow me to go outside with him. This was the most I had been isolated. And he also limited me feeding him. I had to finish all of my work in the house before I was allowed to feed my son.
Why?
This was the new thing that my father adopted. My father would sometimes target one person in the family and make everyone else be against them. So I was the person at the time. So after I had my son, it was like my sisters didn't really talk to me because if you were caught talking to me, then you'd get in trouble with daddy. So
come on, man.
At some point, my son gets very sick. He wakes up this one day, he starts having seizures. My father was not home. My brother convinced my mom to let him take me to the hospital, me and the baby to the hospital. We go, and I was given all of these forms that, this is all new to me. But when I noticed that they were asking for my son's father and my father, I decided to take a risk and put my father's name as both of them, hoping that would be like, hey, I need help. So it did. It raised a red flag.
Okay.
But not enough. My father comes back home, gets into the hospital, curses out the medical unit, all the doctors. He starts telling them how they're trying to experiment on his son, all of this stuff, threatens me, threatens the life of my siblings at home. And eventually social services was called in. They take my children out of my parents' custody, but they leave my other siblings there. So now all of my children are in the hospital with me. At the same time, my father's still threatening me. He's talking to the caseworker as well. So there's just like all of this confusion.
Yeah.
Long story short, my kids end up in foster care.
Oh.
It was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, I feel that.
My father rapes me again through all of this. So the whole time, even though now it seems like I have access to somebody that might help, unfortunately, where we were living, it was very racist and very biased. So I tried to reach out for help the best way that I could without putting my father on, but my caseworker was not receptive. At the end of the day, my father is even more abusive. Now he's beating me. I got black eyes all the time. At the same time, I had to adhere to these different programs from social services to get my children back. Through that, I get pregnant again.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
close to now my due date. End up in the hospital. because it's mandated by social services that I have to get prenatal care. So this is the first time I'm ever getting prenatal care. However, my father's taken me to all of my visits. He's still in control. The abuse is still going on. There was one time he sends my sister to go with me, and it turns out I'm in labor. I don't know I'm in labor, of course, because I don't have labor. My pains are not bad at all. My sister saw me talking to the nurse, and I was getting ready to ask for help, tell her my situation. My father calls, and my sister tells my father that I was about to tell the nurse what he'd been doing.
Oh my gosh.
So he decides to come and get me and says, I'm going to take you away from anybody, from any help that you think that you can possibly get. I'm taking you to another state, and I'm going to deliver the baby there. So that's how we ended up in Florida on a campsite, and he delivered my child in a tent. Thank God all of my births were safe. However, even though the births were safe, so 2 of my children do have inborn errors. One had PKU and spinal muscular atrophy, and the other one has PKU, phenylketonuria, which is a metabolic disorder. It's a recessive disorder where both parents have to be the carrier of the gene. So my second daughter had the condition, but of course we didn't know it. This condition is screened when you give birth in a hospital. You're given a PKU test, and they check the blood to see if you have this disorder. But of course, since she wasn't screened, because my father delivered her, she started showing the signs of untreated PKU. We didn't know, of course. She broke out in rashes all over her skin. She had developmental delays. She actually does have some brain damage due to it because she wasn't discovered until she was 2 years old. But my father said that the reason why she was breaking out is because my milk was poison and my negative energy. So he always blamed me.
Bro.
He always blamed me.
How can you blame somebody for their negative energy and you making their energy negative?
And it wasn't until she went into foster care and was tested at the hospital did they find out. So now that when it gets to the point that my last daughter by him, she started losing milestones. So he delivered her, brought us back to Jersey, all of the threats. And by this time, there had been enough things in the family that he made good on some of his threats in the past.
Yeah.
So the mental control was still there. I didn't feel it was safe for me to reach out to anybody for help. And eventually my youngest daughter, started losing milestones. She wasn't sitting up. She wasn't crawling at the age she should have been. And finally got her tested. All against, my father was just, of course, blaming me again. But then it turned out that she had the spinal muscular atrophy and the phenylketonuria. So my births were fine. Yes, my births were actually, thank God,
I don't know if y'all hear that glitching, but it's not me. I don't
no
think.
complications. But, my children, 2 of my children did have issues.
I know that Coco passed.
Mm-hmm.
Your other daughter that has PKU, does that affect her life today?
It does. She has to stay on a special diet for the rest of her life, a low protein diet. So she's primarily vegan, and she has to drink a special formula. So even though she is not eating protein, she still needs some of the nutrients in protein. So the formula provides her these other nutrients.
Bro.
And because of the brain damage from when she was younger, she does have some other you would never know that she has them, but there are some things that she copes with, specifically emotionally. But she's an amazing young lady. She's 28.
5 pregnancies.
Bro, this man just... I hate him.
Mm-hmm.
A miscarriage, and you gave birth to 4 beautiful children.
Yeah.
Coco passed at 9 years.
She was 9, yes. Yeah.
Was that very difficult?
Was it? Oh my gosh. And the anniversary of her death is coming up on October 17th. Yeah. But I mean, she was a blessing in my life. I mean, she was a blessing in all of our lives because she really taught us empathy and I think an appreciation for life and our abilities, because she was disabled and she depended on everyone else to help her. I did everything I could to give her the best quality life as possible. So we drug her everywhere. We did not go to the movies without my baby. But so it was, and I wasn't even home. I had decided to have a day trip with my sisters. We went to Great Adventure. She was left home with my mom and her nurse, and I got a call that she wasn't breathing. So it was due to complications to her spinal muscular atrophy. However, you know, I feel like I don't have closure on that because the medical...
Take your time.
Coroner, medical examiner,
yes, refused to do an autopsy. They just labeled her as it was because of her condition.
Yeah.
But I think the nurse was negligent. Because when I came home, her food was wasted all over the place. And I was on the phone at the time. Her and the nurse and my mom were panicking, and the nurse didn't know how to open the oxygen tank.
Come on, man.
After I spent the day before with her, making sure she knew everything. So I'm like, I don't know what happened. And the nursing agency took all of the notes. Like, there was just a lot of questionable things. So I feel like I'm still working on having a sense of closure for that, because I think that, well, she wouldn't still be here with us. The doctors, I feel like every couple of years they gave me a new date. They didn't think she was going to live past 2 years old.
Damn.
Then 2-year-old birthday, they told me she wasn't going to live past 5. So it was progressing. She made it all the way to 9, which I'm thankful for. But I think she would have made it a little longer, you know, had I stayed home that day. And so I carry a little guilt about that.
What was your favorite thing to do?
Watch scary movies.
Really?
Yeah, she loved to watch horror movies. This one movie specifically called The Messenger, and she would actually be scared. Like, you should see her face, she'd be scared, but she loved to watch it. That and Justin Bieber. She
Really?
loved Justin
Bieber?
Same.
Tight shit.
Yeah,
Bieber
like
is
join
the
the
goat.
club. But yeah, that was pretty much, and of course, be her with mom. I was her favorite person.
Was she always like the baby of the family?
She was, but she acted like she was the oldest. She loved to give orders.
Yeah.
She definitely loved to give orders, and she expected everyone to be at her beck and call.
I love that.
Yeah, she was the sweetest thing. Oh my gosh.
What is your relationship like with your children?
Intense. Just say that. It's intense. It's loving, though. There's so much love between us. When we're all together, it's just so much fun. And I have taught my kids to speak open with me. So communication is a huge thing. We have family meetings.
I love that.
Go over what people's goals are, what are they going to achieve in the next year, week, what their plans are for certain things. So I think all of that really contributes to our relationship. And because my parents were so silencing, like, we didn't have a voice in my house. It was more like shut up and listen. So I have definitely used my parents as what not to do in raising children. So I allow my kids to, oh my gosh, sometimes even to a fault, challenge me. Like, if they disagree with something, they can, like, ask me a question about it. Sometimes it goes on and on and on and on, but like, sometimes I feel like they're just a little kid saying, but why? But why?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
why? But they're grown. Or even throughout their teenage years. But I think that has contributed to how open and how close we are as a family. And we just have a lot of fun. Like game nights are the best. Cooking is the best. Like it's just so much fun when we all get together, watching movies, doing things outside of the house.
So they were taken to foster care, and then how did you get them back?
Yeah, good
A
question.
lot of work.
I bet.
A lot of work. Essentially, my kids being taken away from me was the push that I needed to then really get away from my father, because
Yeah.
I knew I could not bring them back to our life. So my children were separated in foster care for about 1.5 years. After my case was moved from Monmouth County, which is where I had the very racist experience, to Essex County, and I got a caseworker who was compassionate, they decided to work towards reunification. And part of that was to find family to be my children's foster parents. So everything came full circle. My maternal grandmother and my aunt was their foster parents. So they actually ended up having their latter part of their foster care living in the house that I grew up in. It was so surreal.
Yeah.
And that's how I reconnected with that family as well. I was able to visit them. It took some time, but I eventually was able to visit them on the weekends. We rebonded then, and then they each came home a month apart. Through that, the whole process with social services, they have to do home visits and check to make sure that I'm taking them to their doctor's visits and things like that. So then finally, 10 days before they went up for adoption is when I got full custody back for
Let's
them.
go.
I felt like that I finally did it. Now it was through all of that process is when I was able to completely liberate myself from my father. And that was because through the process of working with social services, I learned that I was being abused. I learned what abuse was. I learned what pedophilia was, domestic violence. Like, these were all ideas that I had never considered. It was just my life. So now learning about it and learning that what was happening to me was not supposed to happen started to empower me. And I began to look for more ways to get away from him. And I finally built up the courage to tell someone who he respected. And that person happened to have some kind of connection with law enforcement, ended up taking my mom to report domestic violence and got a restraining order against my father. So now that process started. I was able to get my children back. A couple of years after that, my sisters and I went and reported my father to the police.
Is it a weird feeling when people reference him as your father? Like, do you prefer if people call him by his name or?
No.
It doesn't? Okay.
And it's something that's kind of a topic that gets questioned, me specifically, because I do still refer to him as my father.
I mean, I think it's your choice.
Right.
Yeah.
I just want to respect
For
your
sure.
choice. Yeah.
Right, I agree, but it's intentional. It is intentional because if I called him, I've heard survivors call their abuser their, a sperm donor, or especially if it's a parent, they'll give them these other titles. But for me, especially because of the work that I do, I feel that it's important to recognize what his role was supposed to be.
Okay.
And he was supposed to protect me. He was supposed to take advantage of his role. So yes, I do refer to him still as my father because one, that's what he is. And two, it highlights the severity of his actions, how heinous that the things that he did was, because he was the person that not only contributed, to me being here, but he was given the responsibility of protecting me, and he completely exploited it.
Tell us about the day you leave. Escape. Is a better word.
yeah,
Okay, I
it's
like
not
that.
leave.
Yeah.
the day that I escaped. So it was triggered now here I am, all of these ideas, all of these things happening in my head, already told this person, this other person who actually was his friend or somebody that he really respected and revered, and was the first person he allowed me to speak to outside of his presence or anyone else's presence. So of course that opportunity came. I took it. I begged this guy. I said, please do not tell him. If there is a way that you can help us without telling him, please, can you do it? This is all happening with in the space of a week.
Okay.
My father was around my younger sister, and he was about to take her into the room to rape her. She was pregnant with his child already. And something just flipped in me between the information, between I had already started taking steps to get us away. All of these things just stirred something in me, and I went off. I just exploded on him. I called him all kinds of names, called him an asshole. And I also looked at my mom, and because she was there, and I was like, and how could you have let this go on all of this time? You're no better than him. And I just went off, and then I took my sister into the bedroom and locked the door. And by the next morning, my dad was gone. And then that's when the restraining order was put in. And so he did not respond because he was in shock. And I have learned now in my studies that this can happen. You'll have somebody that has been abused for so long that essentially they just break. And then because the abuser is so used to them being compliant and submissive, when they see them now get to a point where they are empowered or they're challenging their authority, they're in shock. So that's what happened. And my father, he just sat down. He said nothing. He looked at my mom. My mom was dumbstruck. I don't know what conversation they had after I took my sister and locked the room door, but I know that that was the last time I saw him. Once I saw him in public in Jersey City, and then the next time I saw him was when I was testifying against him in court.
Looked
How
like a
did
piece
your
of shit.
kids find out who their biological father was?
My oldest daughter was 5. She was raised calling my father daddy. So she knew that was her father, but she didn't know I was her sister. So now when she went into foster care, she was getting these mixed messages. The social worker, the caseworker, told her that who she was calling daddy was really her grandfather. Still no information on me. Then when she got to my grandmother's house, my grandmother reiterated, doubled down on it. This was her grandfather. This was not her father. When I got her back, by the time I got her back, she was 9 years old.
Dang.
She kept asking me. She wanted to know the story. I didn't feel that she was mature enough to really handle. So I told her that I would tell her when she was a little older. She accepted it. She still kind of bugged me every now and then. She was like, oh, mommy, well, I suspect this and I suspect that. I'm like, I'm neither confirming nor denying. That happened when she was 13. And she came and asked me again. She was like, well, am I old enough now? And I told her. She said that she knew it. So I explained to her that the entire dynamic, yes, who she now knows as her grandfather is also her father and is also my father, and that we were sisters. And her words out of her mouth literally was, I knew it. So she had already put pieces together.
Yeah. Kids not stupid.
I told her at that time. I still waited to tell my other children. My daughter and I, we spoke about it. Clearly she was angry, but she wasn't physically upset, I guess, because it more felt like a confirmation of what she had already suspected. And she had come to terms with certain things by that time. But when I told my other children, they were upset.
Yeah.
And the reason why I told them was because it was after Coco died, created a lot of turmoil between me and my sisters. And by that time, so many other things had happened. Like my sisters slept with by that time, he was my ex-husband. So, our relationship was already strained.
What the
Some
hell?
of the negative seeds my dad planted had kind of come out, sprouted out. So there was just a lot going on by that time. And my kids didn't understand why. They didn't understand why there was so much arguing and so much blame and fingers being pointed. So I felt like it was time to tell them.
Yeah.
My daughter, Moncho, my second daughter, she got very emotional. My son, he didn't really say anything, and he learned about it at the youngest age. I believe he was only 9 at the time. He was he couldn't have been 9 because Coco died. So he had to be about 11. And he just internalized.
Yeah.
He internalized. We've spoken about it over time. Like I said, my door is open for my kids to ask me any questions, any information. So they know a lot of the details. They know the emotional impacts. They understand the trauma through the work that we do with my organization. Of course, they are like the number one people to go to about that. They're experts on that. And it just required then for us we had to intentionally heal, because the reality of it and how it has affected our lives, it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with.
How has it impacted their lives in society? Because I do think there's a lot of stigma and shame that could come, I guess, depending on the types of communities of relationships that involve incest. What has been their impact?
Believe it or not, their friends have been really supportive.
Yeah.
Their
That's
friends
good.
have been really supportive once their friends
They'll be
knew.
friends.
And their friends, my oldest daughter, started telling her friends before I became public about it. So she had the support from them. Mm-hmm. My son, I am hearing stuff now. We do family therapy, and he'll come up with some kind of story or experience where a girl, because I'm public and knows that he's a result of incest, told him that she wouldn't date him because of that.
Oh my gosh,
but
bro.
He has no problem getting girls. So he's like, that's like, went right over his head. He was like, oh, well, you're lost. So they're all very confident in their position. My second daughter.
Because you don't want nobody in your life like that anyway.
Very much interested in the topic and incest as it's practiced in different cultures, and she does talk to me about it. So she's more curious in that way, but none of them have experience, well, except for this one incident from my son with this girl. They have not experienced any serious blowback. My oldest daughter will catch some comments under my videos.
Yeah.
And she will go in.
You tell us the comment, we will also go in.
She will go in on.
Yeah, that's a lot of weirdos
so their
out here.
Confidence levels, and they're very secure within themselves. They're very secure within themselves. They don't feel any form of shame because of it. They're just proud. Like, they are who they are. They're talented. They're communicative. They are witty as hell. Their sense of humors are crazy. But they don't feel any form of shame or shyness because of it.
You end up escaping. Mm-hmm. And then a few years later, you guys turn your dad in.
Right.
And then there's a whole trial that you have to testify in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
I know
it was scary. It was scary because I knew I would have to see him again. It was nerve-wracking because the judicial system is not far from perfect. Oh my gosh, it's so far from perfect. My experience with the detective was scary. When we first reported and I had to give him my account, it was scary. And then when we got to the stage that we were, the prosecutor, judges were being assigned to the case. Some of them was like, well, why did they wait so long?
Oh my gosh,
and
bro. People.
incest is legal in New Jersey, so.
What?
So.
Wait, what? I didn't hear that shit. What?
and incest is legal in New Jersey.
What? Bro, throw the whole fucking New Jersey away. What do you mean incest is legal in New Jersey? Huh? Am I hearing this shit right?
So, so we got a lot of that. And it was like, we got to wait for another judge because we can't have a judge that has bias. So that process was strenuous. But the prosecutor, she was committed. She was dedicated. We had to prove a lot. I had to prove that my father was my father. I had to prove that my father was also my kid's father. I had to prove that he threatened my life. And then because incest is legal in New Jersey, specifically after you turn 18, you're considered consenting adult. The only way he could be charged with him abusing me after I turned 18 was if it was under violent circumstances. So he would have to be now violently raping me for him to be charged with any form of abuse. So that was just a lot. At the same time, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the system. I learned a lot about the judicial system. So I'm grateful for that because now
that she probably didn't learn
to strengthen it, to make it easier for other victims and survivors to report.
That's fire.
But the day that I had to testify in front of him, here I am thinking, I'm this far on my healing journey. I'm confident. I have my kids back. I'm working. I'm getting an education. I was putting myself through college. As soon as I saw him, all of that disappeared.
Yeah.
How old were you?
By then, I had to be 35.
Damn.
Yeah, 34, 35. I reverted right back to the little girl that I was afraid of him. But I collected myself, but I became very self-conscious of my body. I don't think that I had fully come to term with the idea that what happened to me was not my fault. Me being in his presence, I started looking at myself to make sure I didn't do anything that would, trigger him or arouse him in any way. But I took audit of myself. After I did we had a preliminary testifying. It wasn't in front of a jury. It was only in front of the lawyers and the judge. So then the judge can decide which questions are allowed and what shouldn't be allowed. And after I finished, I collected myself. I was able to internalize, do a lot of introspection, and get myself ready for the actual my actual testimony. So, and even that was strained because, of course, the defense attorney has to ask questions.
Oh, yeah. What is the cross-examination like?
It makes you feel so invalidated.
Yeah.
Because they're really trying hard to
invalidate
make it look like that you're either lying or you asked for it or why didn't you tell? So there were things that I was testifying that only my father knew about because he was the only person in the room other than myself, and she challenged every one of those things. Yes, he had a female defense attorney. I mean, that was strategy. Yeah. And I heard that he went through two other lawyers. They started the process once they started hearing what the charges was and started reading the reports that me and my sisters gave to the detective. They decided they couldn't continue represented him.
Damn.
But he did find someone that represented him.
That's crazy.
And it was really strange sometimes in court because I saw him trying to do the seductive thing that I'd seen him do with other women. Like he'd get really close and whispering in her ear and giving her little touches and stuff. And I was like, this is so creepy. This is his attorney. But she did her job. Another part that was difficult was seeing some of the jury members look like they didn't believe me.
No.
That was tough. There was this one woman specifically, every time I described something, she rolled her eyes. Yeah, it was. So, I mean, but I was determined to have him be held accountable. So I powered through. The fear was there, but I did it because it needed to be done. He needed to be held accountable.
Way to be bold.
So during this trial, your mom receives no charges, likely because she divorced him and was willing to testify against him?
I don't think she even divorced him yet by then. It was because she was still married to him. And she waived her whatever right that is for a spouse to not testify against, for a married person to not testify against their spouse. So in exchange for her waiving that right, and she did. She testified against him.
Her testifying, was there some sort of closure? Did you feel like she was finally coming around, or did you feel like it was advantageous to her situation?
It was definitely advantageous for her.
That's what I'm about to say.
And
don't cover
I
for
love
her.
my mom. I have to love her from afar now. I cannot be around her. She has not healed enough for us to interact. Especially how she feels or how she responds to my children, that started to kind of surface again. Even after we got away from my dad, she was treating my children a lot differently from her other grandchildren. I believe her reasons for testifying there was a lot of selfishness involved. I think that she was protecting herself, but anybody would do that.
Yeah.
I am pretty much 100% sure of that, is because when the day for his sentencing for the crimes he committed against me, my mom went on a cruise. She was not there to support.
Damn.
On a cruise?
She went on a cruise, and I was like, Mommy, are you serious? So I just think there is
That lets you know
still a
everything
lot
you
of
need to
guilt
know.
that she has not dealt with, and this is her way, by just not dealing with it, to avoid it. So my relationship with her is...
Bro, and that's her biggest fucking problem, is the whole time that shit was happening, she was trying to act like it wasn't happening, and that does more damage than anything, because it's like, I'm sitting here getting abused, I'm your fucking child, and instead of actually helping, standing up for me, like, you just acting like nothing happened, bro. Like,
kind of non-existent. I see her every now and then. I still communicate with her cordially, but as far as being in a real relationship with her, she's just not at the place. She's not at the place. There's a lot of things that I think that she has to
I wouldn't even
come
give
to
her the
terms
opportunity.
with, take
Fuck all the bullshit.
responsibility for, that she just hasn't yet.
Do you think she should have been charged?
yeah.
That's very hard. That is a very hard question. I think I have different reasons for why I would say yes, but I also have different reasons for why I would say no. My reasons why I would say yes is because at the time, New Jersey law did not hold someone who witnessed abuse and did not report it accountable. Right? That has changed. I believe 2019 is when now they changed it. That has a negative impact on people reporting. As I said before, I found out later on there was a lot of people that suspected, saw things, and didn't report, but they could not have been held accountable legally at the time. So I do think that yes, she should have been held accountable. One, as an example to other people. Like, if you see something, you suspect something, you should say something. I think that it would have contributed to the efficacy of the system in general in protecting children and protecting abused people.
Yeah.
At the same time, I would not want her to be charged because she was an abused woman. And she was severely abused. My father severely abused her. And I don't think that there are enough things in place to manage and support abused women, especially women that are abused in that way and have children that have been abused. So, her life was at risk. She feared for her life. Yes, because I know her and I was there and I witnessed and was on the receiving end of her selfishness. I could say, well, no, she should have been held accountable. But at the same time, as a professional, someone in this field, I think that she should have been shown grace and, if anything, been assigned some kind of counseling
Yeah,
and support
I feel that.
services so that she can make better decisions going forward.
You started getting molested when you were 8. You finally testify when you're 35. How much of an impact do you think being Black in America played in that?
A lot. I mean, one, my father used that, right? He used that to keep us oppressed. It's something to be oppressed within a system of oppression. So he used the fact that we were Black and people on the outside, the things that are put in the position to supposedly protect everyone, is not going to protect us because we're Black. So there was the fear of, well, I'm being abused by my father. That's a
But
devil
nobody
that
gonna
I
protect
know.
me. Yeah.
But then if I try to get away from him, then there's this whole other devil that I don't know that will abuse me as well.
My bad.
So he definitely used that. He educated his family on the social issues that Black people face. That created a fear of the outside world. It definitely did in me. I know it did in my mom. We felt like we could not reach out for help. Then there is the gender dynamics and gender biases. My father
Yeah.
had friends. He had a friend that was a police officer, but that was his friend. And definitely for me, well, if my father is doing this and this is how my father treats women and this is how I was raised, this is how women are supposed to be treated, every man is treating women like this.
Yeah, I could see it.
I also heard his
that's all
conversations
you know.
in the music industry with all of his celebrity friends and music professional, how they really dehumanized women and over sexualized and taken advantage of, video girls. And so all of those things, all of these social issues that we are facing today definitely has a deep impact on the smaller social systems, which are families. And I think abusers definitely take advantage of that.
Yeah.
And I know before Essex County, you had really bad experiences talking to people, trying to get help. That was because you were Black. Is that something you think has been changing, or is that something that's still?
We were in Monmouth County. I've only been there to go to the beach, so I don't know what the social systems are like
Everywhere else.
personally. However, I have had women reach out to me and said it's the same. And they've shared their experiences with the systems down there, specifically dealing with domestic violence. They're like, look, if you are a Black woman, do not move to Monmouth County.
Damn.
Now, that could be taken as hearsay, but that's their experiences that they've taken with me. So I don't know. I don't think it's changed very much. But I do think some of that could be lack of education, meaning a lack of education for the social workers and the law enforcement.
Yeah.
And because racism it's so ingrained in our society that I think even those people who aren't innately racist, because they are functioning within a racist system, they
just get away
automatically
with
are
more.
going to
Yeah,
take
it's just normal.
advantage of the power that racism gives them. So I think a lot of those things still exist, and that could just take some education and some empathy in order for it to change.
Yeah. It's
Being
people
a
who really
victim
don't believe
of
that racism even
housing
exists
is already
anymore.
difficult. Do you think being a victim who is also a person of color, does that add an extra level of difficulty in getting your voice heard, in authorities taking you seriously?
Yes, definitely. And I think because it intersects with how being a person of color, how people of color are treated within the medical system and within law enforcement.
Yeah, it's a long history of
because
that.
Black women specifically, our levels of, we're expected to have a higher tolerance for pain.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Right. So you have a woman who has experienced domestic violence, her injuries just aren't taken as seriously just because of that alone. So because the abuse intersects with all of these other things, and then with law enforcement, if they're already discriminating against people of color because we have been labeled as violent, right?
Yeah.
Then it's not so much of a big deal. So all of those things play a role. And that's why even when I do my speaking engagements, I have to bring up the cultural sensitivities that vary between different ethnicities and different races and different backgrounds.
One thing that I can't wait to do is I've realized as I've gotten older, and now that I'm getting older and stuff like that, that I have a responsibility to have a good career and make my money and do what I'm supposed to so that I can improve the world. And you can't do that if you're struggling and poor. And I realized that, you know what I'm saying? And as a man, I'm gonna have to make sacrifices and do the things that I don't want to do in order to get to where I want to be so that I could be the person that I want to be. And it's like, bro, people, women, the world needs to get better. And it's my responsibility to make myself better and expect better of the people around me and stuff like that so that the world can get better, you know? And I feel like even though things look rough right now in the world and chaotic and stressful, I do think that, you know, in order for us to get better, it's going to have to get ugly, and we're going to have to dismantle some bullshit that is not positive for everyone. You know what I'm saying? So I'm loving to see that, you know, women are standing up for themselves and being better, and, you know, the systems that have been negative in the past are starting to crumble, and I love to see this. And if the whole United States empire have to fall and in order for things to get better, then I respect it. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm a part of, you know, the United States and stuff like that, and I want things to be the best, whatever it takes for things to get better, you know, that's what it got to do. And I'm just hoping that it gets better and better and better so that my kids and my kids' kids could have a better world to live in, bro.
Even when you're dealing with a survivor, they may have things within their culture, their religion, that will prevent them from addressing certain things or saying certain things or being forthcoming with the information. And I think that the people that work within the systems that are supposed to help, support, and protect needs to be educated on all of these little elements and nuances.
Yeah. Did you feel like you got support during testifying and during the trial?
Yes,
okay.
definitely.
That's good.
Okay, good. Oh my God.
Yeah, we all breathing a sigh of relief.
Listen, that prosecutor from Passaic County, when she was the assistant prosecutor, she was absolutely amazing. That whole prosecutor's office, they were so supportive.
And he was sentenced to 90 years.
90 years total.
Have you gone to visit him?
No. But
Amen.
I started the process by reaching out to some of his family.
Nah,
His
fuck all
sister and
that.
his
Let him
brother. I
ride.
was told that his brother is the only person on his list. Apparently, he has to create a list to decide who can come and visit him. And I would have to go through his brother to get me on the list. So that's a work in process, but I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it for two reasons. And there's something, because the second reason I really just came to the conclusion of.
Okay.
So the first reason is, one, I want to pick his brain. I want to get as much information as far as his thinking, go more in depth, like ask him questions if he had been abused so I can get a clear answer, not have to
It's going to help her with her work, too.
As far as his different stages of when he decided to escalate from molestation to rape, how did he come up with these philosophies and these theories? I'd like to know if he is going to tell the truth, if he's grown, if he's changed, and possibly get some information that would help to bolster my work and create better programs that takes into account how abusers think and what methods of operation that they use to groom and to victimize people. And then the second reason, which is something that through my own introspection I've kind of come up with more recently, is that I really am curious to see how I would respond to him in that moment. Kind of looking back on the time that I saw him after years when I testified against him and seeing how I did not anticipate how I would respond, I would like to feel and experience based on who I am now,
who you've
where
developed
I
yourself to be.
have grown to, my life experiences, how would I respond being in his presence? Will there still be a little bit of fear there? Would I trust myself in the moment? Am I going to, go blank on my questions, or can I really go see him, do what I need to do, and then move on? So
can you be secure in yourself?
I definitely plan to go see him. I hope he doesn't die in prison yet before I get that opportunity.
Is there any part of you that's scared
closure, low key?
of maybe just not even scared of him, but maybe like the scared comes from the idea of being triggered back into a trauma
Not that
state?
so much. One thing I do know for a fact is that I don't know everything. So I think I would be just more afraid, if you want to call it that, of just the unknown, of something that I didn't anticipate. I mean, even now, I don't think I have been in enough social situations to tell you for a fact that everything that I've been through would not have an impact on how I respond in that specific social situations. I know that there's still a lot of things undiscovered by me just because I've not been under those circumstances to discover it. And I think that this would be one of them. And I'm curious to see, like, I've been ghosted for the first time.
Oh,
Somebody ghosted me very recently.
Dang.
And I've only heard of it.
Yeah.
But I was like, damn, this shit hurts.
Bro. Well, I guess her pops didn't allow her to be in dating and stuff like that, but I done been ghosted a couple times. They do hurt, bro. Then you trying to reach out and figure out what happened. You trying to convince yourself that it wasn't what it was, but it really was what it was. And it's like, sheesh. I know. It's tough, bro. Then you'd be like back to square one. But it'd be like irking you even after you done tried to get over it. Like you'd be like, but what? I didn't do nothing. I was just being normal. Like I just wanted to go. Like, bro, prepare the whole fucking day. Picnic and everything. Just out there looking like a goofy. Look like a, you know how people be having like a clown outfit? That's how you be feeling, bro.
That's crazy they would ghost you.
How can somebody do this to somebody? But, so it's kind of like that. It's like, I just know there are certain things, and I have such a fervor for experiences in life. But
Not that
not negative ones.
Yeah.
But I'm right, not that one. But yeah, I'm really curious on how I would respond. Like, am I as strong as I think I am, kind of thing,
Type shit.
So that's a new reason. I have decided that I want to see my father in prison since he was sentenced, because even at his sentencing, he was still denying things.
Come on,
he was
man.
still denying it. He kept saying, Aziza, you know the truth. And I'm like, well, yeah. And
Yeah,
that's
I'm
why
telling
you're
it.
here.
90 years.
Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, so I would like an update.
What are
Yeah,
your
has prison changed his
feelings
mind?
towards your father?
Well, one, I'm very disappointed in him. I don't know if that is strong enough, but he could have been so much. And I don't discount his potential, his creativity. I know I have gotten a lot of my kind of just do it perspective from him. He was successful in his craft and his business up to a point. I think his ego got the best of him, and that kind of messed things up. But he was doing very good things. I am saddened that he took his life and made these decisions when he could have made different decisions and possibly helped and inspired a lot of people. So I think that's like a complete waste. Other than that, I feel like emotionally, I don't feel any attachment to him emotionally. I feel very indifferent. He's like another human, That's pretty much it.
I mean, no one would blame you if you had strong feelings of hatred, but it seems like you
has
don't
healed.
have that.
I don't. I think hate takes up a lot of energy. One.
Yeah, it do.
And I can't say that that's my conscious reason for not hating him. I did have my rage, but it was such a lot of it happened during the abuse.
Yeah.
There were times I plotted killing my father.
Should have
With a
did it.
hammer, right?
Yeah, once with a hammer, another time with a pillow. He was very sick. That's just how angry I was. And that's how much I wanted what he was doing to me to stop. I was literally thinking of committing murder. Even beyond that, trying to poison his food. So I think that this is the thing with long-term abuse. You go through all of those things at different stages, you know? So I experienced all that. So by the time I came to the end of it, so much of it was about my children, creating a life for them.
She didn't have
healing
time to really
myself,
hate him that much.
trying to enjoy life because I spent so much of it suffering. And any anger that I had for him just wasn't that important anymore. And that's pretty much where I've been and how it has been. It's just not important for me to be angry at him. But I did experience the anger at different times. I know it probably plateaued that time that I cursed him out, because there was so much stuff just came out, you know, in my head. And I think if I was a little more out of my mind at the time, I probably would have physically attacked him. But since then, yeah, no, I don't have any like moments of anger. Every now and then when I have challenges with my kids, I think maybe I do get a little, that would be the only thing, because sometimes, though I don't want to dwell on the coulda, shoulda, wouldas, I have to acknowledge, like, it's hard not to acknowledge that my daughter would not have PKU had she not been born as a result of this situation. That my daughter who passed away didn't have SMA because of it. And any challenges that my kids have, the fact that they don't have a father, you know, and that they have to deal with everything that comes along with this situation. Yeah, that pisses me off sometimes. But it's not like a personal direct anger towards him. It's more just about the situation. And I do know that if I was to dwell on it, I would probably be miserable. Yeah. Because there's nothing I can do to change it at this point.
Yeah,
so I just do.
She at the stage where it's like it happened, and if I want to make the most of the rest of the life that I gotta let it go and leave it in the past, and I respect that. But also at the exact same time, using the situation to help other people is so noble, and I respect it so much. Such a strong soul, bro.
What I can do to change it or stop it from happening to other people.
What is your relationship like with your siblings, specifically your sisters who also were abused?
So right now, I'm only in communication with one. They do blame me. Yeah, they do blame me.
You for what?
One, I orchestrated for us to have a group therapy session, and I learned within that session that they felt that had I fought my father harder, then they would not have been abused.
Oh my gosh.
So they held me responsible. And the other was that my father did tell them, or had started this narrative, that he was abusing them because I told him to. So they was carrying that.
Yeah. And they were so young
that affected our relationship going forward. And it got to the point that, we don't really speak. One sister I am still in communication with. We actually have, we're pretty much in touch. We go out, we hang out, we do things, we talk on the phone. So yeah, but that's what it is. And then I have some of my little siblings that I speak to who have different moms, because even that, my relationship or our relationship with our mom also had an impact on our relationship with each other.
Yeah.
What are your kids' relationships with your sister's kids that were by your father? Because they're half siblings, but also cousins.
Yes.
Are they close? Do they have a relationship?
Probably
There's
not.
6 of them, right? So I have 4,
If the moms
and
don't
2
get
of my
along.
sisters each have 1. One is completely disabled. He doesn't communicate. He has some very rare genetic disorder. So he communicated with us, and we were very close. At one point, he even lived with us. But since the communication between my sister and I, his mom, deteriorated, now we never see him.
Yeah.
So they don't communicate. And then my niece, she is involved. I would say they definitely have more sibling rivalries than like cousins. So they did, every now and then they're arguing, and they're best of friends, and they're arguing, and they're best of friends. But
That's normal,
she
though.
volunteers with the organization and everything. So we're cool.
I know, like, there's a lot more information, but I just need one little snippet of your sister slept with your ex-husband. What?
Yes.
Which
Now why is Rotten Mango trying to clock the tea? What's going on?
2 of them. It was 2 of them, and I do chalk it up to one. We
That's
did
intentional.
Not know what a healthy relationship was. Then there is the fact that we was raised in a polygamous life.
No, that is mad intentional, bro. Of all of the people in the world, your ex-husband? Like, no, that's intentional.
Then there is the fact that we was raised in a polygamous lifestyle. Yes, my father was raping us, and everything was done against our will, but we had been conditioned to being with the same man. That's how I rationalize it.
No, don't rationalize
there
it.
has been enough time passed, and I felt that we built up a good
Enough
relationship
respect
with each other. I also had the conversation with them, like, okay, guys, we can't do this. We can't do it. My man is my man. Your man is your man. We laid all of that stuff out. Then one day, my younger sister, she was actually the one that was a baby when I first started being molested. She comes to me crying, saying how I have the perfect life.
Huh?
Now, my husband and I, we had been together. I think I was pregnant at that time. Yeah, I was pregnant with my youngest son. She's crying how I have the perfect life and blah, blah, blah. And she wants my life and so on and so forth. My baby was 5 months old, and my husband confessed that he had been having an affair with that sister.
Oh my gosh.
Before we even got married.
Bro, my thing is, as a husband, and I'm sure he knew the situation that happened with her and her dad. How could you do that? Like, bro, I'm tired of men at this point, bro.
Then 3 years later, I found out that my other sister also had an affair with him. And the the reason why it came out was because the first sister was suspecting the other sister. And they started arguing about it. And then that's why my ex-husband decided to confess. So, yeah, it was still a lot of drama. I was like, guys, can we just...
Yeah, I'm leaving the sisters. I'm leaving the whole family.
I understand that.
I'm leaving the whole fucking family behind, bro. Fuck the bullshit, except grandma. And I don't know about grandma. I don't know if grandma knew, but bro, the sisters, and I could understand why she wouldn't want to, because she probably personally feel a little bit of like responsibility for how they were treated and stuff like that. But bro, I ain't got the life that she done lived. I ain't got no room for no negativity, bro. If you not about to, like, if you on bullshit, get away from me. I wouldn't be able to deal with it, man. I'm trying to have a better life.
Most of why I forgave them. I mean, clearly I'm no longer with him. I've not been with him for a while. And I definitely felt that my relationship with my sisters was more important to maintain. I was not ready to end my relationship with them over a man who was not going to be around anymore. So
type shit.
You mentioned in an article that when you go out with your kids, sometimes people will ask you as a joke, are you guys siblings?
Yes.
And you guys have a good little giggle about it. What do you guys answer? What is the response?
Well, the response is no. These are my kids. Like, this is my mom or my daughter. My daughter
Type
is
shit.
usually the one that responds. Arish, my oldest, she usually says, "No, that's my mom." But we do. We always have. We look at each other like they only knew.
At least they could,
They only knew.
you know,
I just
vibe
want to
out.
say, after this, I don't know how many hours of episode, I just want to say you are one of the best mother.
Yeah.
I like when you
She a
walk
vibe,
in,
bro.
It's like a bubble of compassion that you walk in with.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe it. I just feel very safe around you.
Really?
Yeah.
And I-
She find the positivity in everything.
Anxious and- No, I don't even know how to put into words your energy. Your energy is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Oh
telling
my gosh.
me.
And I think, I mean, I can only imagine that your kids are
I want to get this
amazing.
white piece of lint
Okay,
off.
so they're all in their 20s now? Except for
My
that.
oldest is
Yes.
31.
Sheesh.
What
Older
are you
than me.
guys- What are your kids doing? What are you focused on?
So I'm focused on Precious Little Ladies Incorporated. Our mission
Okay.
is to end
Shout out to them.
sexual abuse, gender-based violence, and incestuous abuse. All of my kids are involved in that. They are all involved in that. Some of them it's like an event basis, but others just on a daily basis. My oldest is the most involved.
That's fire.
She loves to sing and write. I think she's still trying to find what she wants to do in life.
Yeah.
So, but that's up to her. She's definitely a creative, but she's also an introvert. So
It'd be like that.
Moncho, my second daughter, she also loves to write. I
Okay.
guess they all took after their mom that they love to write. She also helps with the organization. And then my son, Aloba, he is a dancer. That's Mr.
okay.
ASAP Rocky number 2. I don't really see it. I don't see.
I don't see it. I don't
No,
see
I
it.
don't see the resemblance. That could just be because he came from me. I don't know, but I don't see the resemblance.
I see.
But yeah, everybody says, and he definitely uses it. But he dances. And I'm learning that he actually has a pretty good singing voice. Sometimes him and Arish, my oldest, will have these jam sessions and he's harmonizing and stuff.
Hey.
But he wants to get into acting, modeling, that
okay.
kind of thing. Right now, he just has, a job to pay the bills. And then my youngest, who is my son for my ex-husband, he, and it's funny, like his role in all of this, he's so kind of back and forth, but you would never know that they had different fathers because they're
Okay.
they're just siblings all the way. So there is no,
That's fire.
oh, you're a half sibling or anything like that. He is very active he's about to go to college actually.
Okay.
But everyone is just very creative. They're just very creative. And then they support me, which is a blessing. I did
Fire.
not go out in public with my story without speaking to them about it first. I do check in,
moms.
with them, make sure that they're okay with this. Right now, we are working on a larger project, more like documentary-ish.
Ooh.
And Aloba is a natural at it. He definitely loves the camera. My son, he definitely loves the camera. What else? I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah, so
going
much,
on.
yeah.
You wrote your first book, well, volume 1 and volume 2.
Right.
And it sold out the print copies on Amazon.
Yes.
Which is
Sheesh.
crazy.
Yeah.
And it's something that does that every now and then. It's like, and then it's on the Amazon top bestsellers list. And
But it's
So,
available
yeah.
on the Kindle version and on your website,
Yes.
the physical copy.
yes, so
W promo.
Anytime anybody, it's sold out on Amazon or not, you can just go to my website, azizakibibi.com, to get it. I also have a podcast that
Ooh.
chronicles the journey of me writing my book.
Nice.
That has its own drama. Like
Okay.
one of my sisters is the one who started designing the book cover. Everybody agreed. Some people chose their pseudonyms, and then suddenly everybody was against it. So
Damn.
I talk about things like that through the process.
Yeah.
I also go into depth on what testifying against my father was like. So there's that. It's called Self-Published, so you can find it anywhere. Gosh, and then Precious.
I think if, on her podcast, I think it would be really, really good if she talked about being a mother too. Because, I feel like she's really doing a solid job at that
Little
too.
Ladies is preciouslittleladies.org. So there's a lot of information on prevention. And then Aziza's Law. So as I talked about incest being legal in New Jersey, I'm working to change that.
That's good.
So what is the opposition of not making it illegal?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a very good question.
Because I don't understand. Yeah.
Some people believe, some legislators believe that it may infringe on certain religious belief systems.
Man, what?
But New Jersey is only one of 2 states. 48 states, it's illegal across the board. So I'm
Man, get them weirdos out of here.
like, what's the
what's
question?
going on in New Jersey?
Yeah.
Right. That's what a lot of people ask. I have yet to find out, but so far it's been echoing that it could infringe on some religious belief systems.
Cut the
But
bullshit.
I'm pushing anyway, so trying to get as many people to reach out to their legislators, and even if you don't live in the state, sign our petition on change.org.
Okay, I got to do
Because
that.
all of that, having the public encourage legislators that this needs to be
On change.org.
criminalized, then I hope would push them to do so.
And there's so much information in your book that we didn't even cover today. You have your own YouTube channel. You have TikTok.
Yes, I do. See, I go
That's a
where
must.
eyes are. It's like,
Facts.
I knew young people who needed to hear my message and feel like they weren't alone. They were on TikTok, so I went to TikTok and
I got to find the link for
How
that.
has that been like? Do you like it?
I do. Oh, I enjoy TikTok. I enjoy TikTok. It's something because people tend to compare TikTok to Instagram because they
No,
say
it's not the
Instagram,
same.
You have to be like rich and bougie, and then TikTok you can go on there with your bonnet kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. That's where I do my cooking live streams
Ooh,
with my kids
okay.
on TikTok. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
And you're working on a second book?
Yes, I am.
Nice.
I am
I like the
working
cover for this
on-
one.
I guess you can call it a self-help book. It's more like
Okay.
a self-reflection. It's called The Hump. And I use my life experiences as an anecdote on different ways people can get over their hump and get as far along as on their healing journey as possible. But not just dealing with abuse. It could be
Just
kind
any
of
struggle.
life challenges, whether it be the loss of a job or the loss of a child or a loved one, just really getting over the hump to then find your happiness and thrive.
Wow.
Wow.
That's beautiful. I would
Yeah.
listen to a self-help book from you any day.
Yes.
And that's the thing people have been asking about Unashamed, making it an audiobook. I started recording it.
Yes.
Good for an
Yeah,
audiobook.
thank you.
Facts.
Thank
She do got a nice voice.
So yeah, I'm looking to get that done by the beginning of next year.
Nice.
Okay, poetry?
Oh, yes.
Poetry.
What's going on there?
I used to write
Yeah,
poetry.
So I am my poetry, man.
And make it deep
So
and meaningful.
I love words. I just love words. Like you can't put a word in. I have read the covers of all of these as we've been talking, but when I get in a really emotional state, like I'm a Virgo, so I have pretty good control over my emotions, but there are sometimes they get overwhelming, and that usually comes out in the form of poetry. I use it as
Nice.
an outlet. So anything from like heartbreak. I mean, of course, when Coco passed away, oh my gosh, I was writing nonstop. But a lot of challenges that I've had in relationships. Yes, I've already wrote a poem about being ghosted. But I am going to publish it as a print book, an audio book, and also an album.
Nice.
Oh, that.
Wait, an actual music album?
I love that idea.
That would be nice.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so lots of exciting things. We're going to be waiting. We're going to be asking when they're coming. So just watch out.
I will let you know.
Dang, this one was deep.
I'll keep you updated.
Oh my gosh, this was a crazy story. I haven't checked out Rotten Mango in a long time, so I wanted to check this one out. It'll definitely be some more Rotten Mango on the way. Football season is drawing towards an end. I'm starting to get ready for the Air Force, so I'm trying to record as much content as possible. That way when I'm gone, Y'all have stuff to check out. I've reacted to so many videos today, and you'll be watching this today, the day after. So hopefully you guys took this as an opportunity to understand that, you know, your life doesn't end with your trauma. You know what I'm saying? You take your trauma, leave it in the past, heal from it. You know what I'm saying? Heal from it first, then leave it in the past, and, you know, use it as motivation to make the rest of your life amazing, bro. This was a crazy story full of a lot of rage, because I do feel for these types of art. I do feel for women who go through these types of things. That's what I was trying to say. But I really do hate the idea of people, you know, and I really hate, you know, when people force me into things, you know what I'm saying, or like try to push me towards things that I don't want. So I'm sorry if my voice is wavering. I don't want to cry or nothing or get emotional, but I'm that type of dude who gets emotional. But I really hate the idea of somebody taking somebody's choice away from them, and it was tough. I know I was raging a lot and screaming a lot at the beginning because I was, you know, coming to terms with it, and I guess that's why I haven't been on Rotten Mango in a good little minute. But this was a deep one, and I'm interested to see, and I do want to sign that petition for New Jersey with the whole incest stuff, because that's absurd. But yeah, until next time, I'll catch y'all. Peace and love always.